Guys, Deluded Gunnar, thank you very much for the questions. As you know, Fridays and Sundays is Q&A days. Like I said, got your questions printed off here. Thank you very much, Lighting, for allowing me to actually show the print. Like I said, thank you very much for your questions. It means a lot, and like I said again and again, why do I keep saying that phrase? But anyways, I've been over my comments on YouTube and other social medias and tried to find every question. If I've missed you out, please forgive me. Just get in there and ask another question. But let's crack on. Firstly, Alex Alert asks Q&A. If you were Wenger, what would you prioritise for the second half of the season? Top 4, EFL, Europa League or the FA Cup? Well, if I put myself in his shoes, we're in and amongst the top 6. It doesn't look great for us, but I do believe the best way of getting into Europe for any side is via domestic competition. I mean, there's 38 games to be played in the league. Obviously, it's not 38 anymore, but you get the point. So I'd say you still have to prioritise the league. That's got the most fixtures. Europa League, you have to take it very seriously. So I'd say the league. It's a hard one. The league undoubtedly first. Europa League, we've got a decent chance. I mean, there's big teams and we probably won't win it, but there's a decent chance and we owe it to ourselves to bring home a European trophy, I guess. So I'd probably say that's second. But on the same thing, tied for a second, you obviously if you're holding the FA Cup, and we're Arsenal, we love the FA Cup as well as United. We hold it the most times. You want to retain it as well, man. We've done it before recently. Why not try and do it again? Last year we did it in convincing fashion. I know our league campaign was atrocious, but domestically in the FA Cup we were pretty good. So you'd like to think they're tied for second in the Europa League and the FA Cup are tied for second. So I'd say the league first. Secondary, the two cups I've listed on the same level because for various reasons which I've just alluded to. Kat Yarabel, we're in the semi-finals against Chelsea. It'd be fantastic for the fringe and young players to do it. We've got a fantastic opportunity, a step away from Wembley, so you could say that as well as that could be second as well. But realistically, no one really cares for that cup unless you win it. It's great if we go over 2 legs and beat Chelsea, but I'd say retaining the FA Cup and possibly bringing home the Europa League for me, definitely over that. So yeah, I don't think I've missed out any other cups. So yeah, but good question, man. Thank you very much. That got me to think a lot. Jerome Isaiah Lamy asks, the font's not really the best, bro. Forgive me for that. But Jerome asks anyways, what do you think of Arsenal trying to sign Leon Bailey, who has so far scored at the time of making his question 8 goals in 16, especially when Alexis is set to leave? Well, I don't really think it's true in my honest opinion, bro. I mean, I'd love it. He's Jamaican. He's a decent player with a lot of potential. He's making sound waves. Is he quite the replacement for Alexis Sanchez? Of course not. His output is not reaching there. They're at 2 different stages in their career. But, I mean, I don't think it's nothing more than paper talk and some journalists trying to get paid. But I like it, to be honest with you. We need a winger. So, yeah. Aslan Bakar asks, I'm not sure if I've answered this question before, but he asks me, Mesut Ozil or Cesc Fabregas? Mesut Ozil's brilliant. Cesc Fabregas is brilliant. It's a tough one, to be honest with you. It's a tough one. Cesc was a teenager controlling things like the Emirates. I mean, and you saw what he did at Chelsea when he returned that first year. Him and Costa made the difference. Barcelona didn't win the champs, but he still did his thing. Mesut Ozil's a World Cup winner. Turned up at every World Cup he's been at. Done his thing for Real Madrid. Instrumental in all of our cup successes. And it just never happened for him, to be honest with you, in regards to winning the league. But here because we're a joke, but I'd probably say it's a tie, man. I'm going to go with Mesut Ozil. There's a bit of bias there. I'm going to go with Mesut Ozil. Karslan Dorji asks, how did the top sides miss out on Tolisso? Top 6 sides miss out on Tolisso? Your guess is as good as mine, bro. I mean, I'd like to think because it's Bayern Munich, they acted very quickly. I mean, you look at how quickly they were said to have acted for Renato Sanchez. On the eve of Bayern Munich playing Atletico Madrid, they were finalising that deal at dinner. So you'd like to think Tolisso's deal and Lyon's deal with Bayern Munich was finalised very early. But we all missed the trick. He can get into Spurs' side without a doubt. He gets into Arsenal's side without a doubt. Chelsea would love him. I'm pretty sure Pep would love him. Every side in the top 6 would miss him. And for 40 million in today's market, it was a good offer. But yeah, man, I don't really know. But it's an L for them still. You've got another question. Is the best scenario for both Jose/Manchester United is that they both part ways at the end of the season? I suppose United fans are feeling very frustrated because of what's happening, but on the balance of things, and I've made a vid, and I'm not going to go into it again. We know what Jose Mourinho is doing wrong, and he needs to answer for that, and he needs to reinvent himself. Whether he does it, we don't know, and it's not looking like he does. But on the balance of things, yes, Van Gaal won the FA Cup. We need to remember he brought you guys a treble that you guys were saluting. So he's undoubtedly, it's not where you want to be, but it's your most successful period post Fergie. So we need to keep the balance of things. What he needs to do is reinvent himself. You know, with Jose, if you're not going to challenge for league titles, you know you're going to have a good defensive record. So he improved the defensive record, not that it wasn't there at United, but you get where I'm going. He needs to reinvent himself. He needs to allow more fluidity like the beginning half of the season. He needs to stop the shenanigans and blame game and all of these things Jose does. There's so much wrong. But I just said I wouldn't get into it like that, so there's no point. Thank you for the question, though, bro. Jaden Sanjo asks, are Morocco a team to watch at the World Cup? You could say I'm a very big fan of that sort of region's football. I mean, even in the UK, a lot of people who immigrate to the UK from them regions, it's an exciting way of football. It's fast, it's flashy, it's skillful. So you could bet on that. And I like to see different cultures. I mean, how often do us European football fans get to see African players or an African league or things like that? I know a lot of their players are probably European based, but you get where I'm going in regards to the cultures and things like that, how they play football. So you could say that, man. Did Ozil waste his career at Arsenal? I mean, whenever you leave a team like Real Madrid, it's always going to be down unless you go to another team like that. I wouldn't say no. He's won 3 FA Cups. He's played Premier League football. What has been a waste is his time here. I mean, we were told 3 years. Alexis come in, Ozil before him. We will give him money. We're out here doing these things. I'm not going to get into it, but his time here for Arsenal wasted his time for me. We wasted his time because if we actually moved serious, built the side around him, not wasted Giroud and for years just persistent with Giroud, we could have done a thing. But there's no ifs and buts and these things in football. Only hindsight. We have to use it to improve. But the fact is, we didn't. So I would say no, bro. We wasted. Ozil didn't waste his time here. We wasted our time with Ozil. So yeah. I mean, you've asked the question. Is another question. I mean, Harit. I hope I said his name correctly because I love him and he's of Schalke, former Nantes guy. He asks, I mean, Harit. So is he someone we should be looking at? You could say that. Allegedly, we scouted him and we really wanted him. He's now gone to Schalke. He'll be there for a couple of years at least and develop and them things there. I'd love him, but I don't see it happening, bro. So yeah. You've got a last question. Does Gareth Bale need to leave Real Madrid? I mean, not unless you're forced out. He's winning trophies. Unless he deems that he doesn't feel important enough there, or he doesn't feel he can challenge himself, or he can't win any more future sporting aspirations, then I'd say no. Apologies, people. But yeah, Tariq Amazing answers, my guy. Juan Mata's contract runs out in the summer. If Ozil leaves, would you take him on a free? I mean, I'd take Ozil. I would take Juan Mata regardless of Ozil leaving, okay? And I mean, at worst, he could play deep line. He's going to be... I've got a lot of time for Mata, man. He might not be the Mata that he used to be, but he's still an efficient player. He can still do this, the team play and all of them things. Like, I'll take Mata, man. Would be a bit underwhelming, I won't lie, if Ozil leaves and with Matt as a replacement, but he's a very competent replacement, to be honest with you, and that's only because you guys know I love Mesut Ozil. It's an open secret. So yeah, you've got another question, and I thank you very much, you guys, for your questions. Injuries aside, is Vermaelen, my guy Verminator, still missed by Arsenal? I wouldn't say he's ever been missed by his odd season and a bit when he got injured. That whenever year he got injured and he got fizzled out the side, I'm pretty sure it was the year we won the FA Cup. He weren't really levels like that. I mean, I still hold him in high regard. I mean, Jogba, I never forget what Jogba did to him, but Jogba's ripped a lot of guys, but I hold him in high regards. He went to Barcelona. He went there, finessed the Champions League medal. Weren't even involved like that. I don't even know if that rumor is true. How they were asking him to bring back the Champions League medal and he weren't doing it. Shout out to him if that's true, man. But I wouldn't say we necessarily miss Vermaelen by any stretch of the imagination, bro. So yeah, you've got another question. Who out of Van der Beek, De Jong and Itting, I hope I've said his name correctly, 3 Ajax midfielders, do you think is the better midfielder? I like Frank de Jong. Frank de Jong's good. Van der Beek, I like his engine. I like the way he gets involved. I like the way De Boer kind of controls games and floats between positions. But I'd probably say Itting. He's the youngest out of them, I believe. Probably in terms of development behind them, but I like the way he controls games. He's very much a continuation player. He keeps the game running, and he's very cultured, and it remains to be seen where his career goes. I mean, Ajax have a lot of players, but not all of these young players are going to hit potential and be world stars. But yeah, man, I'd probably say Itting, to be honest with you, and that's probably just because I like his playing style. So yeah, Rax17 asks his favourite Bob Marley song. Probably Shot the Sheriff, man. Probably Shot the Sheriff. Yeah, man. Yeah, that'll probably be it, bro. But shout out to my guy Bob Marley. He's got a lot of tunes there, man. You guys know, and shout out to them questions. I love them sort of questions away from the football field. Can you see, you got another question. Can you see Mesut Ozil being deployed as a deep line playmaker? Definitely later on in his career. I know he's getting on a bit, but definitely later on in his career. He drops deep for us anyways. I mean, you'd like to think so. I mean, a competent player like him, David Silva, Santi, Mata, it don't matter. You can play on the flanks, you can play at the cam role, you can play slightly behind in midfield. Once you're them sort of players and you're technically focused, Iniesta too, and you're technically sound and you're cultured and you understand the game, you can play anywhere. So of course he could play there, my guy. So yeah. Ryan asks, if Arsenal were a South London club, who would they have a South London rivalry with? You could obviously say Millwall, of course. You could say Palace because they're in the Prem. Chelsea would be like us and Spurs because we were dominating Chelsea and whatnot, and then they spent Abramovich money that we banter here and there. I know technically, I mean, people say it's West London, but technically it's South. I mean, it's in Fulham. Technically, forgive me if I'm wrong, Chelsea. So yeah, it'll be back to our roots. I mean. We beat Palace yesterday, so you can say we control South London still as well as the North. So yeah, man, I'd probably say Chelsea because we both won league titles. We were previously a better side and a bigger club than Chelsea. They've won Champions League and beat us up in fixtures when we've encountered them 9 times out of 10. So it'd probably be the same way Arsenal Spurs is. It would be Chelsea and Arsenal, to be honest with you. But yeah, give or take whether you count Chelsea as South London. But yeah. Somto asks, Broski, thoughts on Callum Chambers? Well, you guys know I made enough vids about him. I like him, and I like his loan spell last year. He had a very competent loan spell. I believe he missed a month at a period last season because of an injury, but he had a good partnership with Gibson. He was actually being coached to play in defence. Karanka did a great job. I know he lost his job and it didn't happen for Middlesbrough, but I was a big fan of what he did for Callum Chambers. Got his confidence, got game time, and felt like a better player. And although he hasn't played that many games, you can see he's more assured of himself when he played Hammers, when he played Palace, and he dealt with it. And if he carries it on, and he goes on, like I always said, he can be either a competent and a good centre half for us in the future, or he can either be it somewhere else. But either way, he will be a good defender. So yeah, hopefully it's at us, bro. So yeah, Issa Dash asks, if Virgil van Dijk is worth 75 million, how much would Maldini be in today's market? Well, left back, centre half, give or take, wherever you want to play him, you do it all, man. So if he's worth 75, you got to say, I can't put a valuation on Maldini, but you're talking about the hundreds. As would you be for Cannavaro, for Vidic, for Sol Campbell, for Tony Adams, for who else? For Rio Ferdinand, for Big John Terry. All of these guys would be costing 1/5 if Van Dijk's costing 75. It's not Van Dijk's fault. The market's crazy, and you've got to wonder when this is gonna bust, because before it started off as only the good players, Ronaldo, that them fees were, and then it became players that are good and they really shouldn't be going for that, but they were going for that. Then it became players that shouldn't be going for that, but at the time, but because of potential and all of this, like Martial, Pogba, players we've signed, players everywhere that are good players, but potential they can be world beaters. And now it's players that are not worth 75, and I don't want to say average. I'm not Van Dijk. I'm not saying he's average, but average players, inflated fees. I mean, you're looking at Van Dijk, you're looking at Lukaku, and there's other examples. I'm not trying to dig out players, but you get the theme. I'm saying is that's the market now. If you Higuain as well, he weren't worth 70, whatever they spent for him as well. You get 50 million for Sigurdsson. You're seeing all of these things there. It's now players that are not worth it. Sigurdsson weren't the best example. He's not in the same bracket as Van Dijk and Lukaku, because I actually rate them, to be honest with you. But you get the point. So yeah, man. Yeah, in today's market, I don't know how much he'd be worth, man. You're talking probably double Van Dijk's. They call me Med K. Do you listen to Kendrick Lamar? Of course we listen to Kendrick Lamar. We listen to everyone, man. I know there's a lot of debate between Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. Kendrick Lamar's twice the rapper. J. Cole is no disrespect to J. Cole, man. But yeah, guys, Dulu the Gooner, I'm signing out. Thank you very much for the questions. It means a lot, man. I'm out. Thank you.